I'm Dale Smith for Looney Politics, and now that we have a new Speaker of the House of Commons, Greg Fergus, people are going to be asking questions about how do we prevent another incident from happening like what happened the last time, which caused the previous Speaker to have to resign. But there's no real easy answer to this particular problem because it's all centered in how the House of Commons needs to be independent from the government. This is why the assertion from the Conservatives that the PMO must have known or was somehow asleep at the switch is actually false and damaging, because if the PMO had involved itself, that would be impinging on the freedoms and the independence of the House of Commons and the Speaker in particular. And that's a really big problem for the whole concept of responsible government. Parliament needs to be separate in order to hold the government to account. And if you have the government exercising an oversight function over Parliament, then Parliament can't do its job of holding the government to account. And this is a really fundamental issue. So this is why any kind of safeguards that need to be put into place in the future can't involve the PMO. And it can't involve the mechanisms of the political bureaucracy because that is an arm of government, and government cannot be involved in this particular kind of an issue. Were government to be involved, that is essentially saying that we should just tell the king that the nearly 2 centuries of responsible government were a mistake. Thank you very much. You can have direct rule over us once again. It's that fundamental to how our system operates. So with that in mind, what this is likely going to mean is that the Speaker's office is going to have to put in much more robust controls internally, because that's really the only way that this can happen. Part of this can mean having more formal rules around who gets recognized in the gallery, and there are some rules around that currently, but this particular session where President Zelensky was addressing Parliament was not an actual meeting of the House of Commons. It was an event happening outside of that particular set of rules, so they wouldn't necessarily follow. So it would be up to the Speaker's office in particular to try and come up with some kind of a system that they would have to check internally around ensuring that there is some kind of rule around who gets recognized in the gallery, whether the House is sitting in a normal session or not. But the problem here is that this was a human error, and it's really hard to idiot-proof something if you can't have a direct oversight mechanism, which is fundamentally what this was about. And furthermore, this really should cause MPs to really think about who they want to elect as Speaker in a future Parliament, and make sure that you have someone who's not out there just to be everyone's friend, and who actually has a grasp of the severity of the responsibilities that are being asked of them. For Looney Politics, I'm Dale Smith.